Solve that mystery, Nancy Drew. Nancy Drew Files 100 is called Dance Till You Die. Argo Funk Book Review. Argo Funk Book Review. Bess got a new job as a theme hostess at a teen dance club named The Razor's Edge. She gets paid to dress up in costumes. Lucky. For tonight's beach theme, she dresses up like a mermaid. It's all fun and games until the lights go out and Bess is kidnapped. Nancy quickly determines it's a kidnapping, since Bess was taken through a disabled alarm door and her hairpins are found in the alleyway. The first suspect is Tom Cragen, a guy who likes taking pictures of Bess. He has trouble accepting it when Bess says she doesn't want to date him. Bess's work locker reveals another suspect. Charity Freeborn is an angry punk rocker. She used to have Bess's job until club owner Lonnie Cavello fired her for being unreliable. Etienne Girard, the club's DJ, takes Nancy and George to meet Charity. She is at an underground dance party inside an abandoned amusement park. Hopefully it's not the one from Book 94. That was a fun park. Charity recently ran away from home to be with her boyfriend, Gaetan Orakuma. They quickly leave after Nancy says the word police. Nancy chases after them. As the cover shows, Charity pulls a knife on Nancy. Nancy easily kicks it away. Charity denies everything. She says she wasn't fired, and she didn't threaten Lonnie. She and Gaetan are avoiding the police because he's worried about being deported back to Africa due to his expired visa. Gaetan hates Etienne, who owes him a lot of money after a bad business deal. The culprit returns Bess to the club's alleyway. Nancy and George find her. Bess doesn't remember much. She was knocked out with ether, she overheard two men arguing about the kidnapping, and she saw a green eagle tattoo on the book's cover. On the culprit's arm. Bess's parents don't appear too much in this book, but it's a lot more than they've appeared in previous books. We never learn their names. Nancy always calls them Mr. and Mrs. Marvin, while George calls them Uncle and Auntie. I am forced to conclude that their names are Uncle Mr. and Auntie Mrs. Nancy sees a prowler in Bess's yard. The next day, Nancy and George visit Tom at Cragen Quarry. Tom has a private darkroom in his office, which is weird but convenient. He develops photos from the previous night, which show that Gaetan was at the club shortly before the kidnapping. Tom has taken pictures of Bess without her knowledge or consent. He's told his family he's dating Bess. Nancy confronts Tom over his creepy behavior. Tom turns unfriendly. He takes Nancy and George out to the quarry, where they're almost crushed by a boulder. George jokes that Tom is a harmless loser. Nancy disagrees. She thinks a stalker obsession can turn deadly. She says this like it was not the story of the previous book. Continuity. Nancy goes to Etienne's house. He's been murdered. Etienne has the green eagle tattoo, so presumably he's one of the two kidnappers, and his partner turned on him. Gaetan left a death threat on Etienne's answering machine. Homicide Detective B.D. Hawkins is assigned to the case. There is no mention of Hawkins having a mullet. Does that mean he finally switched hairstyles? The case hits some dead ends. Nancy tries to break into Tom's work, but she can't get past security. Hawkins tries to meet Gaetan, but Gaetan has left his apartment in a hurry. Charity's parents say they haven't seen her recently. Bess says she accidentally walked in on Lonnie and his thug bodyguard acting suspiciously near a water tank. That can't possibly be related to her kidnapping, can it? Nancy tracks Charity and Gaetan down at a dance party. They are so nice and sincere that Nancy officially takes them off her suspect list. She even gets her dad to be Gaetan's defense attorney when he's arrested by the police. Lonnie's thug bodyguard chases Nancy's car, and Tom knows about the murder without being told. He never explains why, so your guess is as good as mine. Maybe he's secretly dating Lonnie, and the Bess stalker thing is a bluff. The culprit smashes Nancy's car with a large rock, and Nancy learns the victim planned to meet someone at the club at 2 a.m. Nancy, Bess, and George go to the club's Halloween party. Nancy sees the club is about to close due to lack of money, and she's almost hit by steam in the pipe room. Lonnie orders her off the case, and Bess gets into a fight with Tom. The women hide in the club when it closes. At 2 a.m., the victim's partner arrives. It's Lonnie! He and the victim were planning to blow up the club and disguise it as a water tank accident. Surely the insurance company will not be suspicious. Lonnie kidnapped Bess because he thought she knew about his plans, only she didn't. Our three heroes are caught by Lonnie and his thug. They're tied up and left to die in the explosion. Nancy and her friends escape using the penknife keychain that George always carries in her pocket. Wait, what? George always has a knife on her? Since when? Continuity! As usual, Nancy decides to rush into danger instead of letting the police arrest the culprit. She goes to Lonnie's house. He pulls out a gun, but she grabs a phone. She throws it at his head, then knocks him out with her karate moves that she forgot to use earlier. Lonnie's fate is sealed when it's discovered he's a career criminal. Tom apologizes to Bess for being creepy. Charity ends her fight with her family when she agrees to wait a few years before getting married. The end. Postbook follow-up. The cover says this is a special collector's edition. I don't know what makes it a collector's edition. It doesn't appear that they released a non-collector's edition of the book. I suppose this is an appropriate place to note that they made 3 Nancy Drew Files collector's edition books. Each collection contained 3 books, taken from the middle of the series. These collections were released the same year the series ended. I think the 3-in-1 books probably would have been more successful if they had been released 5 years earlier. I thought this book was fine for the series, but it wasn't good enough to be considered the special 100th book. The mystery is too easy to solve, especially since Charity and Gaetan are treated as innocent by virtue of having a cute love story. Etienne is innocent because he's dead, so the culprit has to be either the stalker or the broke, angry guy with a thug. I was hoping for a more unique story. Bess has been kidnapped before, Nancy's already solved a mystery at a dance club that's in debt, and someone is killed halfway through the book is a pretty standard plot twist in this series. I'm disappointed that this is a typical book in the series instead of being an extra special book. The book where Ned asks Nancy to marry him would have been a much better choice for book number 100. The book lost my interest a bit when Bess's kidnapping is safely resolved, and the story switches to focusing on a different mystery. Still, I think we can safely agree this is better than Nancy Drew Ransom of the Seven Ships, which is the other milestone Nancy Drew story where Bess is kidnapped. I give Nancy Drew Files number 100, Dance Till You Die, a 6 out of 10.